What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we actually have one of the recently released level limit break buffs for one of the Sugofest exclusive characters for you, and that's going to be the V2 Fujitora. Initially, on the release of these expansions or these level limit breaks, I didn't have him maxed, but luckily I had a dupe from the Legends of OPTC series, as well as pulling a dupe from the turtle farming event with the Toki release, so that was actually enough to get me to get level 5 for Fujitora. And then, upon doing that, I had a lot of treasure map tickets, so I decided to go ahead and get this character limit break expanded. So this guy is as maxed as you can possibly get, and that's what we're going to be showcasing in this video today. So let's talk about his expansion. Let's talk about the level limit break and give my thoughts and opinions on this character, whether or not this character is worth the investment, okay? So this guy is an int slasher powerhouse, and his captain effect and special ability, well, mainly his captain ability, is fully focused on the slasher class. So if you already have a phenomenal slasher leader, or, well, the thing is like slashers aren't really one of the best classes in the game anyways. The problem with slashers is that they don't have a lot of really good utility units. We'll talk more about it as we go along, but with this guy as a captain, he boosts Slasher HP by 1.5 and then gives them a 4.75 times attack boost. And remember, this is with level limit break 5 and the expansion on top of it. So 4.75 attack, 1.5 health, so very bulky and a pretty good attack boost. But then if you hit in the order of good, great, and then perfect, the attack boost will be amplified from 4.75 to 5.5. That is a fantastic captain ability. Just being able to achieve that is really good. But the problem there is if you are hitting in the order of good, great, and then perfect, you're not going to have a very optimal chain multiplier, which he makes up for with his special ability. But in regular play, when you don't have a chain locking effect activated, the best way to go about it is, at least in my opinion, is to do normal attacks as normally as you can possibly be, just hit all of your perfects as per usual. But then when you're up against a boss, at that point, that's when you'd want to be hitting your good, great, and perfect to achieve that really high multiplier, because in those instances, you should be having your chain lock or chain boundary effects activated. So captain ability wise, he seems actually pretty good, but it's more of just the fact that the slashers are not a very good class, which is why this character probably isn't going to see too much play. But I think that this character has a lot of positives as well, as we talk about this character's special ability. So Fujitora's special, when you expand and get him level limit broken and everything with the super evolution, it goes down to an 11 turn cooldown, which is very respectable, and it does 50 times his attack in typeless damage to random enemies 10 times. So it basically accounts for 500 times his attack when you account everything as one. So it's a lot of damage that he does, a damage dealing special, so you get access to a couple of decent supports via that. And he will also change all slasher characters' slots, including block, into matching, and he locks them for 1 turn. So previous to this, I believe he actually had to be the captain for him to do the orb change. I don't remember if he got rid of block slots or not, but being able to just launch that whenever you want, and even if he's a captain or a crewmate, you're gonna have a full board of slots for your slashers, and also locks your crew slots for 1 turn. Now, it doesn't just lock slasher characters. The slot lock is actually for all characters, but the orb change is only for the slashers. So he does damage, he does the orb change, he does an orb lock. He also delays all enemies for 2 turns, which I think is a kind of an interesting effect, and kind of really isn't really needed or required on a character like this. Considering this character is more offensively focused, I think a delay really doesn't make a lot of sense, but if there is an off chance where you can get a delay off on the enemy and you can abuse a conditional boost with that, that's obviously going to be pretty good, but more often than not, that really is going to be kind of redundant. But the final ability that this character has when you activate the special ability is that it provides a 3.5 times chain lock for 3 turns. This character's special is essentially a buffed version of Shanks' crew, as Shanks' crew also provides a 3.5 chain lock for 3 turns. but Shanks also does a health cut as well. So it's, again, as I said, it's a very, very similar special to that character, but being able to be focused on slashes, giving them slots, doing damage, delaying, and also orb blocking, which is a very underrated mechanic. Just all in all, he seems pretty solid on paper. But that's the thing with One Piece Treasure Cruise, you can't just look at characters in a vacuum and consider all of their abilities as one. You have to account for everything else in the game. You have to account for all the other characters that you could potentially use with Fujitora version 2. And that's where the problem kind of sparks with this character, is while this character has a lot of upsides with his captain and special ability, the main problem is the actual fact that he is focused on the slasher class. We touched on it just a little bit briefly, but I personally think slashers is one of the weaker classes in the game. When I was building some of the teams in this video, I definitely came to the, conclusion that, some of the legends for slashers are pretty good. They've got access to a lot of really good Sugo Fest exclusives. But one of the main issues is they don't have a lot of good rare recruits, not too many good free-to-play characters. They are very, very focused on a lot of their Sugofest exclusives, but they really don't have a lot of good utility characters either. One character that I really wish I had is Legend Smoothie, who debuted on a Pirate Rumble banner, and she has some really nice effects as well, because she gets rid of like a lot of different debuffs, and she gives Chain Boundary. Is actually a really good addition to, slasher teams. And she has an effect as well that if your captain is Powerhouse, she provides a Chain Boundary, and Fujitora is a slasher and a Powerhouse character. So that actually works very well with that, but unfortunately, don't have her yet, but she could be a really good addition to slasher teams as well, adding a little bit more utility, So, the slashers, they're really good offensively. They can output some pretty serious damage. But the issue arises, obviously, is when they don't have the ways to get around certain gimmicks, and they have to really rely on powerful support effects, or, heavy teams with Sugofest exclusives, which are not very accessible for a lot of players in the game. All that being said, do I really think that this character is worth the investment for Limit Break expansion and level Limit Break? I mean, realistically, probably not. This is not a character that you're probably not going to use too often. This is going to be more of a fun type of character that you can utilize in some content. But of course, the fact that his captain ability is so focused on the slasher class does make it a little bit more difficult to use this character. But the thing is that this character can still be used pretty powerfully as a sub. You can use him as a sub on a lot of different teams. The fact that he is a powerhouse character, and he also provides all blocking and chain lock for multiple turns, I think that alone is probably where he's going to see a lot of play. And even with that, you don't need to limit break expand this character for him to be useful. Yes, it does definitely provide some significant buffs with his captain ability, but it's not going to make the character any more or less useful through limit break expansion, as I do think he's going to see a lot more play as a crewmate on teams rather than being used as the dedicated captain for a slasher based team. But that's going to wrap it up for me. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it with the brief discussion of yet another level limit break character. I always love doing these ones, and whenever I get a chance to max level limit break one of these Sugofest exclusive characters that do receive these buffs, I definitely want to provide them to you guys, just to give you guys a bit of a rundown on my personal opinions on them. But overall, I think Fujitora, while he is good, it is a little bit of a shame that his captain ability is still focused on slashes. Would have been a little bit more interesting if he was able to boost powerhouse characters as well, considering he is also a powerhouse character. That's going to wrap it up for me, though. Thank you so much for watching, and if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.
見えた